From the studios in San Diego, California, this is Frank Fired Up here on the Mixed Up Sports Network. Coming to you live here on this Monday. It is the 6th day of March, 2017, as we had rather quiet weekend to get to you today, including where we'll start off today, which is the New York Knicks and their game Sunday against the Golden State Warriors, which you knew was going to be well, you knew it was going to be bad. You didn't think it was going to be a disaster, and it certainly wasn't a disaster. But the main thing coming out of that game is not that the Golden State Warriors broke their two-game losing streak, because no team ever loses two games in a row. It's more the story is more the first half at Madison Square Garden last night, or yesterday afternoon rather, which featured this sign up on the big jumbotron at center court. The first half of today's game will be presented without music, video, or in-game entertainment, so you can experience the game in its purest form. Now, there are the two sides. There are the purists, where I sit, and the people that have to be entertained in order to pay attention for more than 5 seconds. Now, while sports should be geared towards the people who are there to watch the game, that's not what happens. A majority of the time, it is the entertainment value. I don't need to, in between innings at a ball game, I don't need to have bloopers from games and from years past that we've seen 9,000 times up on the big screen. I don't need the kiss cam. I don't need the latest in music. I don't need well, out here they call them the pod squad, but these the fans that are hired by the people that are hired by the teams to throw stuff at you. I don't need any of that to enjoy the game. In fact, I enjoy a game more paying less attention to that stuff, because then you get to see everything that's going on, and maybe, just maybe, you'll notice something you hadn't known or hadn't noticed before. So last night, the Knicks put that theory to the test. The theory of you'll enjoy the game more if we take all of this garbage away, all this garbage and all this fluff away. They put that theory to the test last night to a lot of mixed reviews, which is exactly what you would expect. You would expect the purists like myself to be for that, and you would expect the people that have to be entertained in order to pay attention, in order to enjoy themselves, because the game isn't good enough or entertaining enough, that didn't like it. And for those people who have to be entertained in order to enjoy a game, very simple, don't go to the game. If you are, especially a Knicks game, between the team being absolutely dreadful and the ridiculous prices that you have to pay just to get in, don't go to the games. It's that simple. If you are willing to shell out money to either watch your team lose and risk them losing very bad, you shouldn't have to deal with the pandering to the people that have to be that the game is not entertainment enough. My girlfriend is not a sports fan. She loves hockey. I could see her kind of starting to get into baseball. I could see her kind of starting to get into the NFL. While the game does bore her at times, it's not she doesn't need the music, the videos, the video packages, the stupid things that they do on the Jumbotron to find entertainment to enjoy being there. Me, I eat it up. I'm watching movements. I'm watching the movements of the players, see if I can find a pattern, this and that. But again, that's just me. I am the purist. Now, the non sports fan, I can see why you would want the entertainment. Because for the non sports fan, it could be a way to get you into the stadium more often, and then it could get you to start paying attention to the game. That's what it did with my girlfriend. We went to a couple hockey games, started to pay attention to the game, and sooner rather than later, she's screaming at the top of her lungs with everybody else, especially hockey. Hockey more so than anything else. So you could use that entertainment as a way to bring people in, but as a way to keep people in is wrong. This is why comments from people like Draymond Green, who has to air his concerns on everything now, and everyone has to listen. It's people like Draymond Green who are ruining it. Green, you are on the floor. You're playing in the freaking game. I hear a lot of basketball players say that they just tune all that garbage out. But the fact that you call it pathetic, that's one quote. It was ridiculous. This is another quote. It was ridiculous. It changed the flow of the game. It changed everything. You get used to playing a certain way. It completely changed it. To me, I think it was completely disrespectful to everyone, from Rick Welts and all these people who have done these things to change the game from an entertainment perspective. Now, Rick Welts, um, NBA Senior Vice President of Entertainment and Player Marketing. He also mentioned Michael Levine, who is the Warriors President and COO. It was disrespectful to the Senior Vice President of Entertainment of the NBA to not do any of this. Are you sure? Because 30 years ago, this was standard. And like I said, a lot of players tune it out. They don't care. They don't even know. It was pathetic. What was pathetic about it? Wanting people to enjoy a game of basketball for what it is, a game of basketball, was pathetic. It's pathetic to enjoy a sport the way a sport to watch a sport and watch it be played instead of all the music, all the videos, all of this from the jumbotron, people throwing throwing free T-shirts at you. That it was disrespectful to knock off all of that for a half. It changed the flow of the game. How? I didn't realize momentum in basketball games shifted by the music that that the arena plays. I mean, part of it, I want to think part of it is ESPN in this case showing you how ridiculous people are, how ridiculous people can be, and they're putting it out there as look at how stupid Draymond Green is for saying that this is ridiculous, that it was an embarrassment, it was this, it was that, and not what I honestly think they're doing, which is passing it off as actual news. And this leads into a bigger discussion, which is we need to be entertained in order to care. And if you're a diehard, even if you're a diehard or an average fan, if you're an average to diehard fan, you should not need all of that to be entertained by the game. That's why you're there, is to watch the game. There's a reason why I go to baseball games right as the gate opens so I can watch everything. I can watch the players on the field. I even pay attention to the grounds crew. There's a reason why I go to games 2.5 hours before the game starts. Is so I can pay attention to them. I'm not there to see what music they're playing. It's the people that show up a half hour late that didn't get stuck in traffic. Those are the people that the sports are now trying to cater to with all of this entertainment because they want the almighty dollar. If you're not entertained by simply watching a sport, do not pay money to go see it. Watch it on TV, that's fine. Don't pay money to see it. If you go to a game, you should not have to worry about the extracurricular entertainment. You should be focused solely on the game. You don't need music. You don't need the hat shuffle, which I haven't lost in 3 years now. You don't need the kiss cam. You don't need the team's cheerleaders throwing shirts at you. You don't need any of that. You don't need the blooper reel that everyone's seen 9,000 times. But then again, there are some things on that blooper reel that will live that will live forever. The home run going off of Canseco's head, the butt fumble. There are some bloopers that'll just live forever and are funny, even the thousandth time you watch it. If you go to a game, you're saying, I don't need any of that to be entertained. I am entertained by the game, which is the way it should be. If you have to be entertained by music, by videos, by games, by gimmicks in the middle of a game, you shouldn't be at that game. Watch it on TV, that's fine. Change the channel when you get bored, come back to it later, that's fine. Miss everything, that's fine. But if you are that kind of person who needs to be entertained while you're at a game by something other than the game, you shouldn't be there because you're not a fan of that sport. Especially at a Knicks game when cheap seats are like $200. Back after this. All right, we're back. You're listening to Frank Fired Up here on the Mixed Up Sports Network. Just a couple more comments on that, on the whole no entertainment in the first half. Again, another comment from Draymond Green. You advance things in the world to make it better. You don't go back to what was bad. It's like computers can do anything for us. It's like going back to paper. Why would you do that? So it's ridiculous. So it was ridiculous. Um, Again, just sounded like an idiot. Steve Kerr made a comment also. He said it was weird. It was really weird. You sort of take it for granted because of everything, because every NBA game, you got all this stuff going on, the music in the background. You don't even think about it until it's not there. Felt like church. It was very quiet. It was Sunday after all. Maybe that's why they chose it. It was strange. I kind of liked it better in the second half. Felt more normal with the music. So what I'm getting from that is, and a lot of comments are very similar to that. It was weird. It didn't feel right. Pretty much, it's just people that don't want to deal with change, essentially. Curry said it was weird. It was like being back in middle school warm up games where it's just you and your teammates. There's no music, there's no entertainment whatsoever, so it was definitely different. I read the sign on the scoreboard. They wanted to see fans enjoying the game in its purest form, and that's a great way to put it. Porzingis said it was weird. I didn't like it. It was weird for me, but I guess that's how it was back in the day. So he's saying, wasn't not for me, but this is how they did it. This one also from Courtney Lee. It was kind of weird because that's home court advantage, having the crowd involved, having the music going, and having that energy behind you. If you want the energy of a home court advantage, don't suck. That's pretty much all you can say to Courtney Lee. Don't suck, and then you'll have that advantage whether or not there's music playing or not. But again, like I said, it sounds like a bunch of people that just don't want to deal with change. And that appears to be the issue right now. Right now we've got baseball in action down in Florida. The Mets are playing the Marlins at Roger Dean Stadium in Jupiter. It was tied 1-1 going into the eighth inning, the top of the eighth inning. Now the Mets have exploded for 4 runs. Top of the fourth, Travis d'Arnaud hits a solo home run. Bottom of the sixth, Giancarlo Stanton hits a home run to left. And then in the top of the eighth inning, Evans doubles, Tyrone scores, Smith singles to center, Evans scores, Mazzilli hits a two. Mazzilli looks like Mazzilli, so that's what I'm going with. Mazzilli hits a 2-run home run to left, and now the Mets have a runner on first with one away in the top of the eighth inning, now with a 5-1 lead. The Yankees, however, have not fared so well. They're playing the Pirates. Currently an 11-1 Pirates lead. Bottom of the second, you had Meadows hit a 2-run double, Barnes with an RBI groundout. Top of the third inning, Yankees get it back. Ellsbury safe at first on an error by Nova. Gardner scores. Immediately, the Pirates get that run back in the bottom of the third inning as Mercer, the leadoff hitter, hits a home run. 4-1. All the way to the fifth inning, Weiss hits a double. One RBI double. Diaz doubles to left. So now 6-1. And right now, in the bottom of the seventh inning, the Pirates have pushed 5 runs across. Perez grounds into a fielder's choice to third. Stupid thing reset. Weiss scores. Williams safe at third on a throwing error. And then another run comes. The 1 run came in. Newman walked with the bases loaded, and then Houston hit a bases clearing double with the bases loaded. So there you go. 11-1 right now. That game is in the bottom of the seventh inning between the Yankees and the Pirates. Back to the NBA really quick, and the comments that were made by Mark Cuban saying that he does not have Russell Westbrook in his top 10 as far as in his top couple as far as MVP voting. And I agreed with it at first. But then after I heard Colin Coward explain his idea of why, I agreed with it even more. Now, Coward and Cuban share the same feeling that it's LeBron 1, Harden 2 as far as the MVP voting goes. And Coward explained it as Wall Street versus Snapchat. Wall Street makes a very small amount of people very, very rich. While Snapchat and other companies like that, Instagram and all that, make a lot of people rich, and then those people will branch out and create something else, and then they'll make even more people rich, and then those people will branch out and make more people rich, and it just so on and so on. It goes down the line. And he compared that to LeBron James and Russell Westbrook. LeBron is a fantastic player on his own, but he makes the other players around him better. He's not as focused on personal stats and personal success. Compare that to a Russell Westbrook, who you're hearing about bumping players out of the way so he can get a rebound, trying to force assists, force shots. A guy who is solely about stats, a guy who is solely about individual performance, a guy who is solely about making himself better, and that is it. Now, most valuable player you often tend to think of as the best player in the league for that year. Wrong. When you vote for most valuable player, you are voting for the player that was the most valuable to their team. That if you take them out, how will the team do? Oklahoma City. Now, I'm sure they'll lose some more games if Westbrook wasn't there. But even with Durant not there, they really haven't lost a step. I mean, they're losing games at a higher rate than they were with Durant there. But take Russell Westbrook out of that picture and put in somebody else. I guarantee you, Oklahoma City, maybe they'll be a little bit closer to 500. They're 35 and 28 right now. Maybe they'll be 30 and 32 at some or something like that at this point in the year. So maybe they'll be under 500, but one that still keeps them in seventh place in the Western Conference at this point, and it still keeps them right there in that playoff hunt. Take LeBron James away from the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that team completely implodes. Why? Because LeBron makes everyone better around him. Russell Westbrook is focused on individual performance, while LeBron focuses on trying to get the team to perform around him. To put it even simpler, if you're not getting it, Westbrook is trying to get the team to perform for him. LeBron tries to get a team to perform with him. LeBron is trying to get the team to play at his level, where Westbrook is trying to get the team to make sure that he knows that no one can get to his level. Wall Street, Snapchat. Big business, Instagram. It's an incredible analogy. when you really think about it, or when you think about it in that way. And that is why Russell Westbrook most likely will not win the MVP award this year, because he is not doing that and making his team better. He is doing that to make him better and make him look better. That is the difference between Westbrook and LeBron. Westbrook has been so selfish this year now that Durant is out of the picture. He is wanting everyone to know that there is one guy on this team, and that is me. And as selfish and as ridiculous and as annoying as it may sound when you hear LeBron complaining, oh, we need to get this guy in, we got to get this guy, ownership has to spend money. He's doing that with one thought in mind. He's doing that to get the team better. You're not hearing anything like that out of Russell Westbrook because as long as I'm getting my triple double every second night, then I'm fine. I don't care what happens. As long as I get as long as I get mine, I'm good. And that has been a problem with Westbrook his entire career, but now that Durant isn't there to shield some of that away, to shield some of that off, now you're seeing it completely. You're seeing it in full form. Westbrook never would have been able to get away with this if Durant was there. If Durant was still there, Westbrook would not have 30 some odd triple doubles this year. There have been 79 triple doubles in the NBA this year. We're only just getting into March. This is the most in NBA history, and Durant and Westbrook counts for a little under half of them. There's no other superstar player there that's going to take that spotlight away. So what is he doing? He's taking the spotlight and he's taking all the little flashlights that are focused on everyone else and turning them to him. Meanwhile, LeBron is trying to turn all of those little flashlights onto everyone else. And say, listen, yeah, I'm the big thing in here. I know that. But the only way I'm going to win is if this guy's just as big as I am, if this guy is getting just as many touches as I am, if that guy is getting shots in the spot that he needs to get shots from. That right there builds a championship winning team. It's not always a super team. As you saw last year with the Warriors, it's not always a super team that wins it. Sometimes it's just the best team. The best team that wins. And that is what makes LeBron more valuable than Westbrook. If you want a team like the Knicks that is made up of complete and utter individuals, then you go for Westbrook. If you want a team that is a team and it is a championship contender, you take LeBron. You need to focus on the players that build everyone up around them and not just build themselves up. That is what makes a team. That is what makes a great player. Not somebody who, like Russell Westbrook, who's looking out for his own stat line. And with that, we'll get to the scores from this weekend. Sticking with the NBA, it's been a very NBA centric show today. Saturday, you had the Brooklyn Nets losing to the Portland Trailblazers 130 to 116. Nets are now 10 and 51 this year. Like I said last week or 2 weeks ago, trying very, very hard to get Boston the number one overall pick. Golden State defeats the Knicks yesterday, 112 to 105. That game honestly was not as bad as you thought. It was that second half that really killed the Knicks. They're in Orlando tonight at 7 o'clock. Knicks and Magic. You also have the Nets. You also have the Nets taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. That game is at 8. You'll see that on Yes. To the NHL. Boy, this weekend you had a couple of bad games. The Bruins defeating the Devils 3-2. The Montreal Canadiens over the New York Rangers 4-1. In what was just a bad showing for the Rangers, period, on Saturday. Sunday, you had the Islanders losing 5-2 against the Calgary Flames in Calgary. The Islanders are on a West Coast Northern Canada trip right now. That, and you had the Devils fall to the Blue Jackets 3-0. So you went 0-4-0 this weekend if you're a New York area hockey fan. Rangers play the Lightning down in Tampa tonight. Devils Blue Jackets tomorrow in Columbus as part of a home and home. Rangers Panthers tomorrow as well. Islanders in Edmonton tomorrow. So you have all three teams playing tomorrow, only the Rangers tonight at 7:30. So we get this week kicked off with a rather short show. Hopefully things pick up tonight. We talk about tomorrow. And with that, that will do it for today's show. I thank you very, very much for joining. If you did not listen to it last night, be sure to check out me and Mike Wiley from last night after Fastlane with the wrestling recap. We did go over the Royal Rumble. We did go over Elimination Chamber and Fastlane from last night. So the next wrestling recap that we will do is for WrestleMania, which is in 27 days from now. So we thank you very, very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all tomorrow.